I told my wife that I'm ending our marriage because I found her brother at our house again and said it in front of him. So this whole mess started about 8 months ago when my wife's brother Jake got kicked out of his apartment for not paying rent. My wife Emma begged me to let him crash at our place just for a few weeks until he got back on his feet. I said fine because I'm not heartless, and Jake seemed like he was genuinely trying to figure his life out. Those few weeks turned into 2 months, then 3, then 4. Jake would eat our food, leave dishes everywhere, and basically treat our house like his personal hotel. The worst part was, he'd bring random people over at all hours without asking. I'd come home from my 10-hour shifts at the warehouse to find strangers smoking on my couch watching my TV. Every time I brought this up to Emma, she'd get defensive and say stuff like, he's family, and he's going through a rough patch. I get that families help each other out, but there's a line between helping and enabling someone to be a total mooch. Things got really bad when I came home early one day because I wasn't feeling well. I walked into my kitchen and found Jake going through our mail. Not just any mail. He had opened our bank statements and was looking at our account information. When I asked what the hell he was doing, he said he was just organizing, and that Emma told him to help with household stuff. I lost it and told him to get out. Emma came home while we were arguing and immediately took his side. She said I was being unreasonable, and that Jake was just trying to help. Help with what? Reading our private financial information? That night we had the biggest fight of our marriage. Emma actually accused me of never liking her family and said I was looking for excuses to kick Jake out. 2 weeks later, I thought we had worked things out. Jake apologized and said he'd be more respectful. Emma promised he'd start looking for his own place, seriously. I gave him one more chance because I love my wife and wanted to make our marriage work. But yesterday I came home from picking up groceries and there was Jake, sitting at our kitchen table with our laptop open. He was on some website applying for credit cards using our address. When I asked what he was doing, he actually had the nerve to say, Emma said it was okay because he needed to build his credit back up. I called Emma at work right then and there. She tried to play it off like it wasn't a big deal and that she'd explain when she got home, but I was done, completely done. When she walked through the door an hour later, Jake was still sitting there like nothing happened. I looked at both of them and said, Emma, I'm filing for divorce. I can't be married to someone who lets her brother commit identity theft in our house and thinks that's normal family behavior. Emma's face went white, and Jake started sputtering about how he wasn't stealing anything. I told Jake to pack his stuff and get out immediately, or I'd call the cops. Then I told Emma that I'd already called a lawyer and would be staying at my buddy's place until we could figure out the separation. The craziest part was Emma's reaction. Instead of being mad at Jake for basically trying to use our address to get credit cards, she was furious at me for embarrassing him by saying it in front of him. She said I should have talked to her privately first. That's when I realized this marriage was already over. Anyone who thinks it's more embarrassing to call out fraud than to actually commit fraud isn't someone I can build a life with. Jake had been testing boundaries for months, and Emma kept moving the line. Our address for credit cards was apparently just the latest thing she thought was acceptable.